Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Super League Pom-Cast. I am your host, Johnny Lou. You can find us on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to get notified when we upload. And of course, it wouldn't be the same if it was just myself. So I have got another one of our co-hosts, finally following up from our first episode about 4 weeks ago now. It is one half of the bald duo in Andy, but Andy has a full head of hair today for some reason. He's not quite got it shaved off.
No, no. I think it's called laziness. If I turn round, it wouldn't be quite a full head of hair.
He's got an island on top.
Yeah, exactly that. A big one. Yeah.
But what have you been up to much since the last pod, Andy? Have you been doing bits and bobs?
Well, I've missed doing this, Johnny. I've just been had a really stressful time at work and stuff, and so like coming out of that now. So I'm just glad to be back, and hopefully we can be a little bit more regular, like we were last season, can't we?
Yeah, hopefully we'll be going back to weekly or at least bi-weekly podcasts anyway for the future,
Exactly.
Ladies and gents. Because of course this is where you get your Super League fix. And how good, Andy, is it to have Rugby League back on our televisions, in our stadiums, all around the north of England and the south of France.
And yeah, you just miss it, don't you, when it's not there? It's like
hugely, mate.
You come to that end. You come to that end of season where, yeah, it's exciting. You get you get to the grand final. I couldn't wait for the Ashes.
Yeah,
and I know it ended up being a bit of a
disappointment.
I know, but I couldn't wait. And we said at the time, I remember us saying that the problem that we've got is that the excitement of it could all be over within 8 days, and it was.
Yeah,
and that's
was.
Yeah, and that's the problem. We waited I waited a solid year for it to happen. And then it was all over within 8 days. But then after that, there's nothing. There's a void. There's a void of rugby league. And it's like, oh, come on. I can't wait for the season to start. And I think the thing is with the start of the season is that it's a time, innit, for every fan. It's all, this is our year. This is it. This is we can win something. If not the league, if not the grand final, we could win the Challenge Cup. We could get in the playoffs. We could do this. There's hope for everybody, isn't there, at the start?
Everyone but Huddersfield.
Yeah, but even they would have had a hope at the start of the season because you think, well, you never know. It's like we can do that. We might have Flanagan might come good this season. He might steer us around to an 8th place finish. Yeah. You just think, and then reality quickly sets in, doesn't it? But in terms of like the anticipation of the season, there's nothing like it, is there? It's fantastic.
No, it's great. And I've been getting up at daft o'clock to watch the likes of Hull and Wakefield play again. To play
that was awful.
All sorts. And it was a boring game, but I was on my day off on Friday, so I was like, sod it, I'm up now, mate. My body clock's woke me up, so let's stick this game on.
Yeah, well, I'll send you back to sleep, that one.
Trundling up a pitch. So, yeah, it's it's one of them. And but I've loved that. I've loved getting up at stupid o'clock to watch it. To watch a bit of Super League. This is what we used to do in England, but with the NRL, but it's just the opposite way around. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's so good to have that, and then to have Rugby League on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every single day of the weekend. Half of my week is taken up by Rugby League, and then the other half is thinking about Rugby League. Well, it's a 7-day-a-week job being a fan of Rugby League.
Well, not so long ago, there was matches on a Monday as well. There wasn't, and then they've stopped their matches on a Monday. But the NRL used to have matches on a Monday. So when we used to put them on every morning and things, it was like Tuesday and Wednesday was a dreadful time. That was it, because they only had there was nothing on, and then all of a sudden you'd have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and you're right. But I think at least we've still got more than half the week, I suppose.
But that's it. It's great for me now because I'm in work at 5 a.m. on a Monday. And at the minute, there's a game being played at 5 a.m. on a Monday in Super League that's on a Sunday night or whatever, or a Sunday afternoon. So I just stick the second half on while I'm doing a pool test and let people in and do all that stuff. So,
Yeah, good work.
my boss
Good work.
listens to this, so I probably shouldn't be saying that. I might
Yeah,
edit that
shouldn't be
out.
saying that.
But
No, you don't do anything.
no,
You
but I
don't do
have the
anything of the
commentary on in the
sort. Yeah,
background. I have the commentary
yeah,
on in the background. So,
that's right.
but
Yeah, complete concentration for the pool test.
yeah,
Absolutely.
fully. But that's it. And honestly, what a season it's been so far. Like, it's only been, 4 rounds, and we've had everything. We've had upsets from round one. The likes of York Knights pulling off 2 big victories, beating the treble and now quadruple holders in Hull KR in the very first game of the season. Had the likes of Toulouse pulling off 2 victories as well. Bradford nearly beat Hull in the first game, and then they've been nearly beat Saints at the weekend and pulled off 2 wins. Like, the 3 promoted sides at the start of the year have pulled their punches really, really well, and they have competed, which is what we'd love to see.
I mean, the early signs are, as you've just said, with York, Toulouse, and Bradford. It's justifying the 14-team setup at the minute, isn't it? And that's and I think.
But is it?
Last season, well.
But is it? Is it just showing that actually there's probably a team or two that shouldn't necessarily be there?
Are you talking about Huddersfield now? And
potentially Castleford. Or maybe even Hull FC, the way they play.
Yeah.
But Cass and Hoods were the 2 I was alluding to.
Hull annoy me because they've been in the doldrums for so long.
Last year looked like they had a bit of hope as well.
Yeah, and as a club, and on and off the field, I always feel that they should be a lot stronger than they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
a new owner as well.
Yeah, and let's be honest, they're not a Huddersfield, they're not a Castleford. They're a big team. They're a bigger team than Hull KR.
Yeah.
They're a bigger club, should I say. So if Hull KR can achieve what they've achieved, which is brilliant, if they can achieve that, then why
haven't
can't
Hull FC already done it?
Exactly that. And they looked like at one time they were going to be back when they had the likes of Danny Houghton and they won back-to-back Challenge Cups. They looked like they were going to make a real
under Lee Radford, wasn't that?
Yeah, and they looked like they were going to make a lot of strides forward. They never quite hit the heights in Super League. I think the last grand final they got to, was 2006. I think. But I think, that's 20 years since a club like Hull has made a grand final. Even Castleford have made one in the meantime.
Yeah, literally.
But, it puts it into perspective,
Catalan
doesn't it?
2.
Yeah, well, exactly that.
Hull KR's gone and done 2, haven't they?
Yeah, because they got beat last year and then they won it this year.
Yeah.
So, but honestly,
2006.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's the last time they got beat by Saints, didn't they?
Yeah, 20 years.
When you think about it, the last time they made a grand final, they had Gareth Rayner playing for him.
Mark Calderwood.
Gareth Rayner's been in and out of prison since they made the grand final.
He was probably in prison then, to be fair. Yeah. It's on day release. Didn't he get his medals robbed or something a few years ago? Didn't someone nick all of his medals and rob his house or something, Gareth Rayner?
He might have done, yeah, and then it turned a bit sour for him, didn't it, after that, yeah.
Was Paul Cook in that team? Already left at that point? He would have been there, wouldn't he?
I'm not sure if he was in. I think Richard Horn was in the halves.
Yeah.
So it could have been. I think Horn may have. What was the winger called?
It was Mark Calderwood and Gareth Rayner.
Calderwood, yeah, that's right.
Because he went to Wigan, didn't he, after that?
Yeah.
Mark Calderwood.
Briscoe might have been in the team.
Yeah, he would have been. Yeaman
would have been.
And he was a young kid there.
Well, he was their star man, wasn't he, for a long time?
For 12, 13 years, wasn't he? He was there forever.
Yeah. So they had, but they looked like recently, I'm saying recently, in the last 10 years, like they were going to make the stride, and they never have. And they quite annoy me,
and then they did 4 years where they were atrocious for 4 years. In the post-COVID era, pre-post-COVID.
And you say, well, who's that down to? Is that down to the coach? Is that down to the recruitment? Is that down to Adam Pearson? Is that who you know?
I remember chatting to a former Hull FC coaching staff member, and he went over to the dark side to Hull KR. And I remember chatting to him the year so he'd left Hull halfway through the year before, and I was chatting to him during I think it would have been 2023. He left halfway through, and he was like, "Oh mate, it's like a breath of fresh air." He just went, "It was just toxic." He went when you're losing every single week. He went, "There's just something wrong with that club." He went, "The culture and everything." He went, "Hull KR and under Willie Peters just they have it."
Mm.
And that
Yeah.
was one of the things this guy said, and he was a former member of the coaching staff at Hull FC.
How long does it take to build a culture? And
Oh
what is
well,
and
you look at
well, a big
Warrington. They've been trying to build this culture of a youth academy for 20 years, and they're probably only just recently, over the last 5 years, properly gaining the rewards of that.
mm, it it's a funny word, that, isn't it? Culture, because you hear it all the time. You hear it in all different sports. The culture of
Yeah,
this club. We need the DNA of this club. The culture of this club. Nobody can actually tell you what it means. Nobody can actually tell you what that word culture at the club means, because to me it's pretty
it's
simple. It's
different
about
for
having
everyone as well.
it is. I mean, overall, it's quite simple. It's about having a good a good youth system.
Sense
It's
of
about
community.
being professional. It's about the links to the community. It's about the recruitment. It's about what you expect of players and staff alike. It's a difficult one to put into words, though, isn't it? To put into a description, because you're right, because it's different for everybody.
It's different for everyone. And you look at, for example, football, a DNA of a club has changed, and the culture of a club has
Mm.
changed from what it was in the 60s to what it was
Yeah,
in the 80s to what it was
yeah.
in the noughties to what it is in the 2020s. And I think, yeah, you look at OKR, for example, and that change of culture happened so quickly. It happened where Hudgill, when they went down, took the club off the market that he had up for 8, 9 years on the
Yeah,
market. He took it off the
yeah.
market and he went to his mates, got further investment into the club, and went, right, we're changing this, and we're going to go and we're going to really change tact. We're going to go for it, and we're going to have this goal of winning Super League when they went down. And that was the big breaking point of him going, right, I'm fed up with this losing mentality. And I think it all comes from the ownership and the board.
Mm.
I think if they have the mentality that, yeah, we're going to go and win, we're going to change, we're going to look at how we can do that. So we're going to go, right, what are our community groups like? What is our work in the community? Hull KR over the last 7 years have massively pumped into the community side of East Hull.
Mm.
You look at the links they had with York Knights, even before Clint came in on board with them, and they still work very closely with them now.
Yeah,
And
and
you
I
look
was
at
going
them.
to mention that. I mean, when you did your excellent interview with Clint, you know, his outlook is to have silverware by 2030, by winning the Super
He
League
said
with
to win Super League by
2035.
2036, I think he said, or 2035 or 2036 was winning of Super League, and he'd like a silverware for 2030.
Yeah,
And he took over the
and
club in 2021 officially.
I mean, you look at the way they've started, and you look at the way that they're building with the ground and everything that that they're putting into place. All of a sudden, that doesn't seem an
They've
unrealistic ambition.
just announced today that they've rebranded the New York franchise, and they're going to be competing
That's
as
right.
the New York Knights with
Yeah,
similar logos and similar
yeah,
colours, I'm assuming.
yeah,
It's another thing. And obviously, he has all of his work previously was in America. So he's got a
yeah,
lot of connections there. So Clint can really, really push this and develop that market as and when he suits,
yeah.
or helping to do that as well. So that is something that York are absolutely incredible with, and they are a beacon of it, just like Hull KR. over the last 5 years or so.
And you're absolutely right. But but what you can see and what fans want to see is they want to see action from their team. They want to see investment from the owners. They want to see better recruitment. They want to see their own youngsters coming into the team, and that's what and they want to see effort and endeavour and application to whatever the coach is putting into place. And then you get some clubs where you just think, I'm not quite sure actually where that lies with you. I'm not quite sure where that's going.
The likes of Cass, the likes of Hull, the likes of Huddersfield. And Huddersfield, you can see the investment that he's been pumping into the club for years, but you can't see the rewards of that.
No, and that's a one-man venture, isn't it? But could you not, right, but saying that, and we talked about Cass, could you not see some shoots of stuff with Cass where they've put seats down, the terrace in, they've tried to improve the ground, but they've got
a new down and put padded seats down in an absolute shed of a stadium. But, you look at Wakefield and what they've done. That is actual investment.
Okay, but they've got a new 1-7. They've made use of the extended overseas quota. I'm not saying it's worked for them yet. They've been unlucky with Taff, who got injured, a fullback who got injured early on. I think. Sorry, I've had a blank. What's the halfback called? The 7. He's looked really good. And I can't think
the one from the Titans.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I'll look him up.
I watched the game this morning. I
can't look him up. I can't look him up. I'm using the phone and I haven't got the laptop.
I'll have a look. You carry on talking. I'll have a look.
Yeah, I will. But what I'm saying is that they've had a 1-7 there. That's like they've took notice of the extended quota.
Tom Weaver.
That's right. He's played really well. He's impressed me. Every time I've seen him, every time I've seen him, he's played really well. So
he's only 22 as well.
Yeah, what I don't think they've got, they've invested heavily into the back line. I don't really think they've got the forwards to match it.
No.
So,
and that's where you win rugby league games.
It is, and I think that's where they've gone a little bit. They've gone a little bit backwards in that back to front in that space. But I think you can see things happening. You can see things happening. I'm not quite sure what I see happening with Huddersfield, for example.
You don't.
I know they're talking about
they've got 16 main injuries. I know that, but even when they're fit, it just dies in that stadium.
And I know that they've got this issue, and it does hang over them, doesn't it? The stadium issue. It really does. If they could,
if you only get 3,000 and 1,000 of them are away fans. And you're in a 25, 30,000 seat stadium. You're not going to create anything. You look at York, right? That is a cauldron. You went that first game, right? What was the atmosphere like?
Really good, and I suppose it's even more electric because it is the first game. But I get where you're coming from with it, yeah. And the way that the stadium is built lends itself to some noise.
Yeah.
You know that's
it's not like for example the Brewdog Stadium where the noise doesn't carry because the fans are behind the sticks.
That's right.
It's quite a good acoustics.
Yeah, and it's quite low level. It's quite. Whereas Huddersfield is cavernous for them, isn't it? But if they had an 8,000 stadium like York, for example, or if they played some more at Dewsbury like they did last year.
Halifax,
the crowd would get
that
behind.
He owns the ground.
The crowd would get behind them.
But he owns the Halifax ground.
Yeah, but they have said that they wouldn't play there. But they just lost in this. They just lost in this vast arena. Who, for all intents and purposes, it's a football stadium. Whereas
stadium in a football town.
Yeah, whereas Hull, I think you look at Hull Stadium, and I still look at that as a rugby league stadium as opposed to Hull City.
Yeah, because it's in a rugby league city as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Potentially. But also, would Hull also benefit from something like that? because you look at their stadium, they get maybe 15,000 max during a standard big game. The only time they sell it out is with Hull KR, and even then,
apart from that, they're half filling it, aren't they?
So, like, would they be better off in a smaller stadium, for example, where it's a bit more of a cauldron, where it's a bit more because you look at their home record over the last 10 years and it's atrocious.
Yeah,
they went nearly 2 years without a win there or something stupid like that.
That's
at one
right.
point.
Yeah, probably, or they need to arrange the crowd a little bit better. I don't mean having empty. I don't mean having empty stands. I'm talking about maybe having them lower down, and so they shut the upper tiers as opposed to an empty stand. Maybe that'd help with them. Maybe that would knock a 10,000 off the capacity to help them, and it would create some noise as well.
But then,
because the fans are passionate.
Toulouse have the same issue as well.
Yeah,
with their stadium.
I've only seen one of the Toulouse games at home, and wow, that was like playing at Wembley or something. You know,
I believe you're going to go this season, aren't you, to go experience
next week.
it? So you're going to go next week to go watch St. Helens away, and you're going to see exactly what it is. And honestly, mate, it's an amazing setup, that ground. They've got their own massive bodega bar where like all the fans and usually the players go in afterwards and have like a chat. The officials sometimes do and have a couple of beers, and you can, in this massive bodega bar. There's pubs, the likes of Pub O'Clock is one that they go to, and then they go to one called the Melting Pot.
That's right. And I read another
one that
Bistro 13. I read
Bistro
last week.
13 is a rugby league bar, and they're giving for Saints fans. If you buy a meal, you get free coach and free ticket to the game if you buy a meal at that pub.
Amazing.
So go down and get it. I think that's in cohesion with Toulouse.
Right. But I mean, well, we've already got our tickets. Do you know how much they were?
15 quid.
Tenner.
Yeah, I thought it'd be about that. And because I think we only paid about 12 quid, maybe it was a tenner as well.
Yeah. But it's good value.
You buy a burger and chips and you get a free ticket to the game.
There'll
be a lot of people, because like when we went, there was all these Welsh lads on a big rugby union trip, and they didn't even know there was a rugby league game on. And we seen them in one of the pubs, and me and my dad were having a chat with them, and we told them about the game. No, there was some Irish lads in the pub. Sorry, the Welsh lads we met earlier, and they were like, "Oh, we'll go to that. We're going to go and watch that." But these Irish lads didn't have a clue, and they seen O'Neill's on my Saints shirt. And O'Neill's, that's Irish, blah, 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 blah. And we were chatting to them, and we were like, yeah, there's a rugby league game on tomorrow, you should come. And then next thing, in the stadium, these teams of the Irish lads were there, and they were like, you were the guys from the pub. And we were like, yeah, all right, lads. Having a chat to them and that.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see how they do it, how they operate, what it's like.
They're a great addition back to Super League, though. You've got that rivalry now. You've got the final French derby. They're not forcing a rivalry between Warrington and Catalan because they had a fight once with a bottle of wine and this, that.
Yeah. I was talking them rivalries. Like, I was reading this week because I was talking about Vegas and the losses that teams make and things like that. Did you see the idea that was pitched about taking away one of the Magic Weekend games to use that Vegas game as that Magic Weekend game, so to speak, for the two teams that are there? Did you see that?
So you mean you'd have 6 fixtures at Magic and 1 at Vegas?
And the idea was because one of the teams were having to give up a home fixture to go to Vegas.
So
they wouldn't have to give the home fixture up, but they would miss out on Magic Weekend.
Yeah, that's fine.
I thought that was a good compromise.
That'd be really good.
Because I was thinking about this, and I was like, if you're giving a home fixture up, it's great for the fans that can go. But when you've bought a season ticket and you can't
you
go.
well, you've got to reduce the ticket prices, haven't you?
You think so, wouldn't you?
They won't, but you, you should do.
Yeah, they won't. But yeah.
They just say they won't increase in it.
But then, do you get your ticket for free then to go to Vegas?
No.
So, but that's your home fixture. I've paid
Yeah,
for my
but
season
you get
ticket.
2 NRL games on top.
Yeah, but
So what they should do is go, all right, yeah, a ticket is usually 50 quid, but we'll knock a tenner off because you go into what's Saints or Wigan or Hull. So it's
exactly.
40 quid for you guys.
Yeah, but again,
So you're
it
just
won't
paying
happen,
for the
will it?
NRL. No.
Yeah. Well, I think so. In that case, then the Magic Weekend idea takes has a lot more value with it, doesn't it? And you're getting your Magic Weekend a few months earlier, aren't you?
In Vegas. I mean,
Yeah.
I know which one I'd rather go. Unless it was in Dublin. If Magic Round was in Dublin, then I'd be fuming.
Yeah. But if it's at Everton, then it's
Yeah, sound, I'll take Vegas. It's at Leeds, it's Ellen Road again. Oh yeah, go on. Give us the
yeah.
red light city.
A lot of foresight there. Yeah. But has anything else surprised you over the first 4 rounds? I
There's
think
been a couple of things.
Wigan have set the standard, and I didn't see
Wigan
them
and
being
Warrington.
as and I didn't see either of those two being as, should we say, dominant. That's little bit early to say dominant, but you know what I mean. They've set
Yeah.
the standards with both with the defensively, and they've scored a lot of points as well. Especially Wigan, they've scored a lot of points as
Wigan
well.
scored shed ton. They're at 112 points difference already. Leeds have scored a shed ton thanks to that Hull KR Vegas game. That's bumped up the points difference. Warrington sitting on 29 points difference, Saints on 28. Saints defence has really disappointed me along with their attack. I thought their attack would be a lot more pungent than it has been. Obviously, we mentioned the 3 promoted sides. They've been really good. Hull KR obviously not getting off to the greatest of starts with a loss to York and then the pummeling in Vegas after the hangover of the World Cup Challenge. I mean, if you are going to win a World Cup Challenge, what a way to celebrate.
Absolutely.
In Sin City. They'll have only got off the piss on Thursday, wouldn't they?
Yeah. It's no wonder they got beat the week after, is it, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I'd be absolutely... Some of them bills in the casinos would have been a sore sight, I'm sure, from that OKR side.
I think I'd have still been fed up, though, even if I'd won the World Club Challenge and then you'd have gone to Vegas and they turned in that performance after you spent all that money going there. I think it would have been a bit miffed.
But at least they won the World Cup Challenge the week before and didn't do a Warrington. So, Warrington didn't win the World Cup Challenge and still put in a shit performance in Vegas last year. So.
They just turned up for a stag do, didn't they, last year?
Yeah, with Derek Beaumont on a bloody fucking Bronco.
Unbelievable. The only other thing that surprised me a little bit is that I'm surprised how poorly 2 teams have started. One is Leigh.
Yeah.
And one is Wakefield.
Yeah, Wakefield haven't got going, but they have had a lot of recruitment. The thing is with Leigh, right, and this is all allegedly, but when you've had a pre-season like they've had, with the stories that have come out about a particular centre on social media that, we can't verify, so it's all allegations, of course, when they've come out and then pretty much the fans' reaction at every game, even Leigh fans themselves, are not impressed with the statement that came out, for example, by their owner, which wasn't very well worded. You then go into that they didn't advertise the game against Wigan because of petulance from the owner, from a hangover from last year, not getting more seats despite the fact that, they've been allocated. Why would you give more seats for a semi-final?
Yeah.
Like, why would you give any more? So Leigh, I've had a lot of off-field dramas pre-season that I think is relaying to this.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt there. Just on the Tessie New situation, it is important for us to say as well that he hasn't been found guilty of anything.
No,
He
he
hasn't
hasn't
faced
at
any
all.
charges or anything like that. So it is
At all.
important for us to say that as well.
At all, of course. But you are always there's always the fans' verdict.
Yeah, of course
You
there is.
look at the Mason Greenwood situation, for example, at
Yeah,
United. There is
yeah.
always the fans and the players' verdicts. Now, that to me doesn't look like a team that's fully in sync with culture at the minute.
Again, that word again. Yeah, fans don't want the name of their club soiled, do they? By anybody, because
Anyone
fans
that
are.
has the badge.
Yeah, we're a funny bunch, aren't we, fans? We're allowed to slag the club off that you love in any way, shape, or form, right?
But if
But if
someone who
if anybody else does, or somebody within that setup upset, like is appeared to have
Mike
some
goes,
off-field misdemeanor or not trying or not very
yeah,
good, like woe betide them because that's it. And to be honest as well, once you're on that list and the fans hit list, it's very difficult to get off it.
yeah.
We could
You
both name
you look at what
dozens of
happened. You
players.
look at what happened in the off season, for example, with St. Helens CEO, where the fans at the back end of last year turned on the CEO, and now he's been removed from that position, whether it be for whatever reason. But the fans' verdict's huge. We can name a dozen players that haven't performed at certain clubs that have been ousted because the fans are like, why are you? You look at Ryan Morgan, perfect example. Made that mistake in 2017, never seen again in a Saints shirt.
Yeah.
Done. Never played again.
Well, just on this then. I'll bring three names into it then while we're on Saints. Then the first two absolute club legends, neither of which hit the heights that perhaps they could and should have done as coaches in Kieran Cunningham and Paul Wellens. And I find that one a difficult one because I don't think that anybody should ever underestimate what they did as players. And it's two separate jobs. You take the job, you can't blame them for taking the job as a hometown club where they're legends of the club, and it just didn't work out for them. But don't take that away from what they did as players for the club, right? The second one, or the third name I want to throw at you then, is Ben Barber.
Yeah.
Ben Barber, and I'm thinking of Saints players gone past, was the most exciting player and the greatest signing since Jamie Lyon.
Yeah, and I reckon ability-wise surpassed him for what he could do.
Does he go down as that?
No, he only did 18 months and left the club.
And again, under
And the off-field
allegations.
issues.
Yeah. So it's very difficult to get off that list once you are perceived to be not of the right character for the club, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's dozens of players you can name in rugby league that are these characters and these individuals and that have off-field dramas. But when you go back to Lee, it looks like a team that's disconnected at the moment. Whether that be the off-field issues and whether some players aren't agreeing or whatever, whether that be whatever, they don't look in sync on the field.
No, Lachlan Lamb hasn't hit the heights of the assists and things that he did last season. He made a lot of assists
at the start of the year. He didn't hit the heights. It took him till about round 8 or 9 before he started waltzing in the assists.
They have not seen anything out of David Armstrong, have they?
Well, it's ACL. It's still ACL.
They've not seen anything out. I mean, even before that, he was in and out with injuries. They've not seen anything of him. But they've unearthed then people like Keenan Brand, Bailey Hodgson, which has allowed them to come in. But even, they've not looked. Charnley looks past his best, which obviously he is at his age, but he's not really scored many this year. They've not really put things together, have they? Ipapi's a massive miss for them. When he's out,
huge.
They struggle.
You seen what he did against Saints.
And I don't
with
think
Ipapi on the field. And
and And I don't think they recovered from losing Asiata.
No, they never really replaced him properly as
No,
well.
and he was a big player for them.
Huge player.
So
Huge player. Never properly replaced him.
And yet he's not really found a home at Hull, has he?
No. No, and then you look at Tom Amone as well, for example, that they lost. Don't think they properly replaced his ability. Owen Trout's done fantastic, and now he's playing loose forward, but he's off to Cronulla next year. So, like, there's going to be another gaping hole that they need to replace, and there's a lot of that. And you know, we've spoke about injuries to Lee and David Armstrong and his ACL. We spoke about earlier on Cast with Taft and his ACL. Have you ever seen 4 games start of the season with this many long-term injuries?
No, and you wonder
We had
what
this
the cause of
conversation
it
a
is.
couple of years ago. This is round 4, and we've mentioned Huddersfield, who got 16 absent through injuries. Since you've now got, I think, is it 6 long-term absentees and 7 or 8 injuries? You've got Hull that have 10 or 11.
Lee the same. Yeah. Let me throw 3 things at you then in terms of
Wigan
injuries,
today, Brevin French announced 4 months.
and that'll be interesting to see how they go on without
With
Field and
Field.
French over the next few weeks as well.
Go on, what 3 things?
Okay, injuries. Number 1, is it pitches? Is the modern pitch? Do studs get tangled? Does that cause twists? Things like that. So that's one possible issue. Pitches. Second thing is conditioning. And when I talk about conditioning, I'm talking about now compared to even a few years ago, even 15 years ago. The sheer size of players, the sheer size of upper body in players. That, let's be honest, most of the players now look the same. Centres.
It's like they've been in a cloning machine.
Centres are easily interchangeable with second rowers, as we see most weeks. Because they look the
Sione
same.
Matautu when he was playing.
Yeah,
He was prop forward, second row, centre, winger.
Look at the size of wingers now.
Yeah, got to do a lot of carries.
But that's the thing. So it's a different job. Whereas years ago they'd stand out on the wing, get the ball, and run as fast as they could, and get inside and out and score tries, wouldn't they?
Likes of your AD Gardeners and your
But if you look at the size, so take that one in isolation. If you look at the size of AD Gardner now compared to modern day wingers, if you look at Ravalawa, for example, or
Sivo,
and you look at the size of them compared to AD Gardner, John Bennison, you know what I mean? It's so is that another because are some players carrying too much upper body that
you usually see that where when players at the start of the career are speedsters, so your Josh Charnleys, your Tommy Makinsons, your players like that and Ryan Hall, for example, that was slim at the start of their careers. When they lose that pace, that's when they go, right, well, I've got to change my game, so I've got to bulk up, I've got to get bigger. Josh Charnley now, you compare his figure to when he first started, it's completely different. Tommy Makinson, the same. Ryan Hall's the perfect example.
Yeah, Ryan.
He always had
Ryan
a bit
Hall
of a belly, but now he's like a wrecking ball on that wing. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So they change the styles as well to counteract what they lose as well. So you've always got to consider that.
Does that make them more injury prone in the way that you're talking a high collision and high pace sport?
I think the big ones are the speed and the decision making, because you look this year as well. We've quickened up the ruck, but the game over the last 10 years has quickened drastically. If you take when Saints won in 2022 to when they won in 2014, 2 completely different games. You watch them replays, the 2 completely different. It's more wrestle.
Yeah.
In the 2014, now it's more speed.
And that's my third point. That's my third point. 6 agains, and the speed of the ruck, because there isn't a break in play. And does 6 again and being on the back foot does that lead to poorer tackling
I've got the
techniques?
perfect thing, right? Okay, so over in the NRL, we get a lot of ACL injuries thanks to the six agains, thanks to the quicker ruck speed over here, the sharper ruck, the more disciplined ruck over here. Difference is over here, right? The pitches are a lot harder. They are not as soft. They're not as rainy. They're not as hard. But they're harder. They're not as soft. They're not as wet, slippy.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, if you bring that quick ruck speed into it, right, you're quickening like that, fractions of a second, but it's less decision making for you to turn, change, boom, into the line, boom, back into the line, to meeting the attacker, boom, and it's so quick, and you've got to be changing. The studs come into it, whether because they're a bit longer, they're getting stuck into the ground a lot more, like cleats kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're wearing the winter boots now, so you've got a softer pitch. It's been raining a lot over the past couple of months. We've had one of the rainiest Januaries, wasn't it, on record or something, they said, in the UK. It's been raining for 40 odd days straight or something stupid. Then you add to that, like, if you try and copy the NRL, it's two completely different games, unfortunately. So we're going to have to take that, especially in these early parts of the season, that quick speed is going to affect players. And also, you take into that the tackle technique. If you're quickening the ruck, you've got a fraction of a second less to set yourself, to get yourself ready into the position. You're slightly out of position, so you've got to go in a little bit more and diving in, like the Asiata sort of tackles where you're diving in because you're slightly out of position. So you're going in on them knee joints, you're going in on them positions. Like there's a hell of a lot of decision making for them defenders that it's just tough to do in wet, slippery conditions.
That's right. And we talk about HIAs and that sort of that element. We talk about player safety all the time as a sport. But
Don't ever talk about it from the attacking perspective, though.
Yeah, but this is just as important. So when you talk about head injuries and things like that, this is just as important, this element of player safety.
Yeah. I reckon players would take missing a game through a HIA over an ACL injury recovery any day of the week. I reckon they'd take 4 or 5 over the course of the season, knowing that it's going to potentially hurt them later in their life because their ACLs are... yes, science has come on a lot, and now you're talking 9 to 12 months rather than 18 to your whole career, as it was.
Used to be end of career. That was
years.
it. Yeah.
Right, or you just played with a limp.
Yeah, and that's it. I remember years ago when I first started playing. If you did an ACL, that was it.
My dad was the same.
Yeah, and that was it. You were done. And I remember it was Paul Parker that used to play for United football, and he was one of the first ones to get it treated, and he ended up with some sort of pig's tendon that they replaced it with. Yeah, and obviously that's how far that's come. In a bid to like prolong his career.
Go your local butchers here, mate.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Tendons there,
yeah, I need to pop this in this weekend. Yeah, so yeah.
Dr. Masood, he just wants a pig's tendon to put in a rugby player's knee.
Yeah, so it was something along those lines. Anyway, but yeah, it was. But there is an element, and because of speed of the game, like you said, the different pitches. But I think the speed of the game is there, and the six agains combined. I think the situation's only going to get worse. I can't see it improving because the game gets quicker. The game gets more.
Thing is, with the ruck speed, I don't know why they've quickened the ruck. All you have to do is clean up the ruck.
Well, the NRL tries they're much better at it than Super League, but even they had it a few years ago. They had 2 referees, didn't they, before COVID?
And I'm not asked about the 2 referees, and I don't think it really potentially works.
No, but that was the idea. That was the idea.
It was the idea, to clean up the rucks. But you don't need to quicken up the rucks. You need to clean up the rucks. The rucks, I'm not messing. I watched that Saints game back. I watched the Leeds and Cast game. They're some of the worst play the balls I've ever friggin' seen.
Yeah.
I've ever seen. Yeah. And I'm like, is this what they want? Yeah. They just want them to roll the ball.
Just roll the ball.
Nowhere near. Some of
Well,
them aren't even getting up, and they're not even penalising them. I'm like, what are you doing? You talk
we
about this like as a product that looks shit.
yeah, we had a conversation once with Richard Silverwood, and Richard
Flavour of
Silverwood
the
told
month.
us, yeah, but exactly that, and he would say like they'd come in on Monday, they'd do all the games, they'd come in on Monday, and whoever was in charge at the time, Stuart Cummins, whoever it was at the time, had said. In fact, I think he was one of the referees. I can't think who it was. I think it was Jeff Berry. I think at the time, who was in charge of the referees. And they'd go in on a Monday for the reviews, and he's like, this week we're going to concentrate on this because that needs to be better. And there'd be whatever it was that, there's a lot of shepherding going on under bombs this week. Right, we're going to stop that this week. And
Yeah,
he said that's what they would do. And at the start of the season, they would have an impetus on like playing. Got to get to play the balls right. And for the first 4 weeks, you'd see loads of penalties, and then all of a sudden it'd drift out because they'd work on to what was the next thing they wanted to put right.
yeah, literally. That's just what they do, though. It's like the NRL had this. They brought this rule in with these catching of the bombs, and you've got to go up with two hands. It completely changes how you catch a bomb. If you don't go up with two hands, then you're not challenging for the ball, and you get penalised. I'm like, these people haven't caught a
Yeah.
bomb. These people
Well,
haven't played the game that are making these
no,
rules.
that's
They
it.
can't have.
But if you play for Castleford on the wing, you can go up to catch a bomb with no hands.
No, you don't even have to jump with any hands. You just
Just let
stand
it
there
hit.
and go,
Just,
here you go,
just
mate.
let it hit your
Bloody
hand.
hell. Bloody hell, what's going on there?
I have never seen a
Am I meant
professional
to
player.
catch that?
I've never seen a professional player try and attempt to catch a ball like
At
that.
least Wonga Blake used to jump. You know what I mean?
The only one I've seen worse than that was Francis Melly, who tried for some reason to catch them with the back of his head.
Especially in grand finals. Christ.
Yeah, he just trying to catch them in the back of his head. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not going to
Thing
catch
is,
it
though,
like that.
on a normal regular season game, he caps them for fun. As soon as
Yeah.
grand final came, he went, oh, bloody hell, he's over my head. He's back living in St. Helens. Big up, Franny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Played a round of golf with him and Tommy Makinson once. That was a highlight.
Oh, did you?
Well, I played 3 holes with him.
Oh, I've got to tell you a little story then while we're on that. There's a lad at work, big golfer, plays at quite a prestigious course on the Fylde coast, where it's St Anne's Old Links.
Oh, yeah, St. Anne's here.
Yeah, so they use it as an open qualifying course.
Yeah.
Anyway, he read this and he said he got hold of Tommy Makinson because he knew he played golf.
Yeah, he's a good golfer.
And he was like, "Hi Tommy, like, do you fancy having a round here?" And then on that went. It never came off. But all of a sudden, Tommy Makinson going, yeah, and I'll bring my coach and I'll bring my mate and I'll bring.
It's probably Francis Melly, his mate. He used to always play.
He was expecting it just to be him and Tommy Makinson, and he was like, Tommy Makinson's like, no, I'm going to bring my coach and I'm going to bring this, and he was like, you're gonna pay for this 4-ball for us all, yeah. And it never happened.
Yeah, you just paid 450 quid for us, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it never happened.
I'm not surprised. I'd be like, get stuffed, Tommy. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to play with you.
That's pretty much what he said. Yeah.
That's class. Oh. But, so, yeah. On the subject of injuries, listen, Rugby Football League, for the love of God, just clean up the rucks. Don't quicken up the rucks, for God's sake. Just it doesn't look good,
the game's quick enough as it is.
But if you clean up the rucks, if you clean up the rucks, it naturally gets quicker.
Yeah, but why are we obsessed with this quickening up the game? Quickening up the rucks. Why are we obsessed? Doesn't need to. The game, the ball's in play more than any other ball sport.
6 again's do enough.
Yeah. And
you don't need to quicken it up. Clean it up, and the game will naturally flow better, and it'll flow quicker. Because the better the flow, the quicker things go. There you go. We got a motto for you, the NFL. There
you go. Yeah. Yeah.
The better it flows, the quicker it goes.
Exactly that. One thing that they do need to get and I don't know the answer to this, to be honest, but I'm sick of seeing it where there's a minute or so to go, and the team are defending a 2-point lead, and literally just a 4-point lead, clinging on, holding down,
Yeah.
holding down, and all it does is 6 again. Well, they're not bothered about giving a 6 again
No.
because they're pretty much on their own line, and they've got like 90 seconds to, because once they get the ball back, that'll be it. And
Yeah.
they've got to do something with that. It's becoming. I think that's
It's
becoming
the
a problem.
third 6 again, and it becomes a
Yeah,
penalty.
yeah. But there has to be some sort of jeopardy for that. There has to be some sort of punishment, either post
Yeah.
game or something that's like they need to stop that. If you give 3, whoever's doing that, you have a 1-match ban or something. There has to be something that stops teams from doing that, because that's, yeah, of course it's about winning.
Unsportsmanlike, innit?
It's not in the spirit of the game, is it?
Yeah.
It is becoming a problem, and you see it more and more every week. They do need to sort that one out, I think.
Absolutely. We did have another subject to talk about, but we are short on time. And also, I am recording with Sam later this week on Friday, and we're going to dive deeper into this. And that was the NRL potential takeover with Super League. So we'll leave that for another day to get your opinions on it, Andy. But I am going to
Okay.
do a record with Sam. That'll be out on Friday, guys. So look out for that one. We're also going to discuss the Zach Lomax situation that's been going on. And yeah, it'll be a nice little major topics of the NRL and also Super League, so you guys can look out for that. Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure recording with you again. We will be back either next week or the week later with your next rendition of the Super League Pom-Cast. I've been Johnny. He's been Andy.
Bye.
See you guys.